Everyone, thanks for joining. My name's John. I'm a software engineer with 10 years of experience, and I also have a PhD in economics, where I studied the return on investment to alternative post-secondary credentials, such as coding boot camps, online courses, and so on. Today, we are in part 5 of a live research stream where we are writing a journal quality manuscript, research manuscript based on original research, following a questionnaire design, and other details that I'm sure we'll get into. In this part, we are iterating on drafting the manuscript itself, probably the background section to start with, and hopefully getting to the conclusion section as well, hopefully getting to the whole thing. So the draft will be done this weekend, and it would be nice to actually get it done today. We'll see. Before we dive in, if you're interested in this sort of thing, make sure to follow the page, whatever channel you're viewing, whether that's YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and so on. Follow the page, give the video a like so the algorithm will send it around. In addition to research, I also do coding and tech content and also game content, which leads me to a quick plug for something called Arya's Tale. This is an open source TRPG and TCG gaming system. It has its own GitHub. You can visit aryastale.com, and the GitHub link is up in the header and the footer also. You can also follow on TikTok. Bunch of interesting things about this game, one of which is that you can play for free. You can play using a standard poker deck, and you can also play by comment on social media. So you don't even need to download anything. There's no real time commitment. It can be played asynchronously and casually and as a community by just going over to the TikTok and playing on the pinned video. Okay, and here's the repository for the research in front of us. So now we'll open up VS Code and kick it off. So one thing that I was thinking about was the background section before I hopped on here. Lots of research on large language models, so this needs to be rewritten. And the way that I want to break into the background section is to say something like, there's this untapped productivity potential, or AI tools are being increasingly used in research. Many tasks we can do, more than the current literature understands. Here we can refer to the AEJ paper. Python or C++? I do my data analysis in Python, as do most people. Let's see if I have a link to that AEJ paper. AEJ, the author's name starts with a K. Oh, here it is, Kornek. So here's the paper. Generative AI for economic research, use cases and implications for economists. Okay. And I think I already downloaded it. Let's check my downloads. That's behind a paywall. I have another way to get at it, I think. Here is Dr. Anton Kornek. And I believe, does he have the working paper here? Maybe on the PDF. Yeah. So this would be the draft, the sort of working paper form, but that's okay. So So I think this is a good way to break into the conversation. Let's see if there are any quantitative estimates. I think that's one weak point of the quantitative estimates, is that they focus on large language models, first of all. When GPT-4 is a multimodal model, it's not a large language model. Let's also take these. Okay, and so I want to cite the controversy and break in through the controversy. So on the one hand, there's increasing AI usage, and on the other hand, we hear that we shouldn't be using these tools at all. Economists are told that generative artificial intelligence is on the one hand an increasingly prolific and useful tool, while on the other hand, they are sometimes told to advised that the tools are not yet ready, present quality risk, and present a quality risk. Is this Python? No, we used Python for the data analysis. You can see that on the left-hand side, but currently we are in the phase where we draft the manuscript. So we're currently working in Markdown, and it will later be translated to LaTeX. What's this for? Oh, thanks for the follow, by the way. This is to understand the productivity impact of GPT-4 on economic research. Is this for Club Penguin? I don't know what that is. I'm going to go with probably not. By the way, if you're on TikTok, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch. Link is in the bio, and see the full screen. Okay, economists are told that generative artificial intelligence is on the one hand an increasingly prolific and useful tool, while on the other hand, they there are voices calling such tools risky on quality. Yeah. Or even legally problematic. Risky on quality or even legally problematic. There is a lack of empirical work on productivity and output quality. There is a lack of discussion of the top of the best in class. There's a lack of empirical work. There's a lack of empirical work on productivity and output quality. A lack of standard usage guidance, and in the rare case where empirical data is found, where empirical data is identified, and in the rare case where empirical data is identified following a consistent practice, following standard, there's a lack of empirical work on productivity and output quality, a lack of standard usage guidance, And the problem is and a lack of discussion and a mixing up and a mixing up of large language models and generative artificial intelligence. A mixing up of large language models, Chat GPT, and generative artificial intelligence. This paper provides, this paper is the first. Paper is the first to provide qualitative data using GPT-4. This paper is the first to provide quantitative data calibrating GPT-4 against doctorate level research, doctorate produced research. This paper is the first to provide quantitative data calibrating GPT-4 against calibrating GPT-4, maybe that's the wrong word. Quantitative data calibrating GPT-4 against doctorate produced research. I think that's fine. We'll catch it in the draft if it doesn't work. This paper defines a best practice prompt engineering approach called a plug-in forest. Okay, this paper is the first to provide quantitative data calibrating GPT-4 against doctorate-produced research. This paper defines a best practice prompt engineering approach called a prompt engineering technique, let's say. This paper achieves results that represent the cutting edge of generative artificial intelligence, because and does not restrict itself to large language model use cases. This paper is the first to provide quantitative data calibrating GPT-4 against doctorate-produced research. This paper achieves results that represent the cutting edge of generative artificial intelligence using multimodal models, not using GPT-4. A multimodal model. A multimodal form of Chat GPT, and a best practice prompt engineering technique called a plug-in forest. What are you running? We did some data analysis in Python, did a bunch of research, and now we are writing up the draft. We find that GPT-4 with a plugin forest produces literature review summaries of quality equal to that. It's John's MacBook Air. What should I do if I have blank values showing up as NaN values in Python? It depends on the context, right? What do you want to do? So is your name Frank? Nope, my name is not Frank. What? The internet is wild, y'all. Yeah, what do you want to do with the NaNs? Do you want to turn them into zeros, or do you want to drop them, or what do you want to do? It just depends on what you want to do with them. Okay, so we find that GPT-4 with a plugin force produces literature review summaries of quality of a quality on par with a doctorate. On par. Maybe I don't like the phrase on par. We find that GPT-4 with a plugin forest produces literature review summaries of comparable quality to doctorate level researchers and of comparable point estimated quality. Of comparable point estimated quality to doctorate level researchers while retaining even lower variation in quality. We discover nuance. We describe nuances. We describe nuances with these results, such as weaker performance for lesser published topics. We describe novel use cases for GPT-4 that add to known large language model use cases for research. Thoughts on CS versus cybersecurity? Which one ultimately pays more long-term career-wise? I think CS. I think CS is going to give you the better expected career value. Which is a more prestigious degree so I can get jobs easier? I think CS. Computer science. I guess they're both CS, aren't they? Cybersecurity, but typically CS means computer science. What's a plugin forest? It's a tree of thoughts using GPT-4 plugins. Thoughts on the job market for new grad software engineers? I think it's a pretty good market and it's still getting better. So January, it might be a soft month. I think it's going to be a soft month, frankly. But it's getting better month over month. So I think Q1 as a whole is going to be fairly strong. What do you do? Are you a full stack developer? Yep, I'm a full stack developer. This is like not my day job though. This is side work. So a lot of the side work I do is open source, including this research. Okay, we find that GPT-4 with okay. While retaining lower variation in quality compared to human authors. Have you ever worked at like Fang or something similar? Yep. Yeah, I work at big tech right now, and I'm ex-Amazon. We describe nuances with these results, such as weaker performance for lesser published topics. We describe novel use cases for GPT-4 that add to known large language model use cases, and we make use of GPT-4. Felix, how are you today? Hey, how's it going, Felix? And we make use of GPT-4 plugins. Which are a productivity augmenting feature in ChatGPT that has no empirical. And we make use of GPT-4 plugins with systematic and reproducible plugin selection. A topic which has no known empirical a topic for which there is currently no published empirical work. 3D Techniques says hello. What's up, 3D Techniques? Felix says, going good. Just prepared material for the class in advanced game theory I'm going to be teaching this semester. Great. That's good to hear. I've gotten quite away from game theory. In my dissertation, I included a game theoretic, basically section, not a whole chapter, not a whole paper, but a part of one paper, and I threw it out. That's basically all I ever wrote about game theory. I think it's a fun topic, but it's not very frequently used in applied work, is it? I think it's underused, actually. I think there's a lot of structural models we could build on game theory, but for some reason, game theory is segmented to like its own silo. It's very theoretic. Yeah, it shouldn't be. I think it shouldn't be. I would like to see it used a whole lot more in practice, and I think it can be. Like agent-based modeling and structural modeling. Anyway. Tyler, thanks for the follow. Okay, this is the part that I wanted to basically get out. And then I want to get the citation for Cornick here. Taylor for JEL following Cornick. I'm done coding for today. It's my little TikTok session before I sleep. Awesome. What time zone are you in, by the way? Are you Europe? Are you East US? I can't imagine you'd be going to sleep yet on the west of the US. Okay, economists are often told that generative artificial intelligence is, on the one hand, an increasingly prolific and useful tool. Generative artificial intelligence tools, including ChatGPT, are on the one hand increasingly prolific and useful, while on the other hand, there are critical voices calling such tools risky on quality or even legally problematic. Greece +2 Greenwich. I see. What specifically should I learn in uni for CS? The most important thing that you can get from uni is a piece of paper that says you graduated and a social network. Please, please, please don't go through uni thinking that you're actually going to grow your skills in class. That's like the third, fourth, fifth most important thing that uni does. You want the piece of paper and the social network. You want the internships. And the recruiter connections at the associated businesses that target your particular university as a feeder school. You want to leverage those professional benefits. And then, data structures would probably be the most useful thing. Data structures and algorithms that can help you prepare for interview. Leak code is going to be 100 times more directly relevant, but you can get some of that through uni. By the way, you can go ahead and sign up at latterly.io. Link is in my bio. Sign up for free and start your social networking there. There's a Discord with over 100 people interested in this area. Okay, economists are told that generative artificial intelligence, oh, thank you for the roses, are on the one hand increasingly prolific and useful tool, while on the other hand, there are critical voices. Okay, I want to get 2 citations for that. So there's Buchanan, and then there is the person who made Consensus. Consensus AI, don't use ChatGPT. This guy. This guy. Felix says, algorithms and data structures is so useful in pretty much every field you go into. One of the best courses that I ever did. Yep, agree. Tyler says, my goal is working in FANG, so I'm looking for the most direct way to get in. The most direct way to get in is to get a reference. There's not like a course in uni that will get you a FANG job. Even if I have to go take a job in a mid-tier company, then move to FANG. Yep. I think that's an extremely good idea. That's the path that I took. So I went to FANG after I had accrued some experience and I had got some money in my pocket and stabilized my life a bit. And I was able to then allocate some additional time and effort to grind leak code, basically. And that was my approach. Some people who have a bit more privilege, so I came from a lower income background, but some people who have a bit of spare time to begin with can grind leak code even while they go to uni. So it depends. Like I had to work through college, so that depends, right? I have a connection at Google who's a senior staff developer. Awesome. If you are connected to a senior staff developer, then you are one step away from 100 other Google connections, because a senior staff developer will be over a whole hierarchy of junior to senior developers. So I would say try to build out that connection as much as possible. He's my mentor currently. Awesome. That's great. That's great. Yeah, and he may well have a better plan for you than I have, so stick closely with him. I simplify the process of academic. So we're going to cite this guy, right, basically. So this will be Bilal, comma, Buchanan, and Bilal. And where's the Buchanan? Oof, my back is bugging me. This is the Buchanan paper. Okay. Has she not been published yet? I thought she was. Buchanan and Shapoval. Buchanan and Shapoval. Shapoval. I copied the wrong thing. My bad. 43 pages. Damn. So one guy is a 60. So this needs to be like a 40 to 60 page paper. Target 40 to 60 pages. May also make a letters form for a shorter paper. Any tips on projects to make you stand out versus peers currently, or any ideas you have? Yeah, so as I mentioned, go to latterly.io, sign up for free. There is a step-by-step checklist, and it mentions the standard projects that I recommend. There's the big 4, which is a blog, and a capstone project. Actually, also, probably I should call it the big 5, because once you have multiple projects, then you also want to make a portfolio site to show those projects. And you don't need more projects than that, by the way. Don't get stuck in project hell. Don't get stuck in tutorial hell. If you have 3 to 5 projects, you're ready to interview. If you have 3 to 5 projects that you're ready to interview. The reason I do blog, capstone is because only in the final case of the blog do I actually think that you have the correct tech skills. So it's like a pet project pattern. So you start vanilla, then you go full stack. Really, frankly, that's good enough. But sometimes that jump is too far to jump from vanilla to full stack TypeScript. So I'll often do one in the middle, which is basically like a crappy full stack or a headless full stack, one where there's no database connection and you're using local storage instead of Postgres. So it's kind of like front end only vanilla, crappy full stack without a database, and then like a real actual full stack project. That's why it's blog, because only the third one is like actually awesome. And then you have that, and then you have a capstone project, which really shows your personal passion, and then you have the portfolio. So you have these 5, but really 3 of them are like cool, if that makes sense. Just started to code. What should I learn as a senior in high school? Ooh, I just did 2 videos on exploring and de-risking a gap year, if you're interested in that. Again, any questions, please follow up on the Discord after the stream. Laterally.io, Discord. But what I would say you should learn as a senior in high school is the same thing I would say that you should learn as a senior in life, a 50-year-old trying to code, or a senior in college. The path is the same. I recommend the same path. And that is start with web technologies. Learn React. If you don't like React, follow a 3 strikes rule. Don't give up on programming. You can start with React. If that doesn't work, I would say Python next. And if that doesn't work, honestly, if you don't like React or Python, you're probably not going to like programming, is the truth. But you can give it another shot with something like game development, which is very different. And most people actually find the developer experience even worse. But there's a small percentage of people that cling to it. They cling to it and love it. Okay, so Taylor for JEL following Cornec. 40 to 60 pages may also. Buchanan's paper is 43, and Cornec is something like 60 plus. Oh, okay. And so we were checking. We also want to cite the Stanford paper. Close this one. Close this one. And we're searching this one. Accept all. So I think this is the published form. Okay, so Hill got in here somehow. So I guess it would be Buchanan et al. Okay, economists are told that generative artificial intelligence tools, including ChatGPT, are on the one hand increasingly super awesome, and on the other hand, fucked. And then here's some citations for that. There's a lack of empirical work on productivity and output quality, a lack of standard usage guidance, and a mixing of large language models, ChatGPT, and other tools of artificial intelligence that have distinct usage patterns and productivity implications. There's a lack of empirical work on productivity and output quality, a blurring of the nuance of an inappropriate sort of This paper is the first to provide quantitative. So the other thing is that people blur topics, and they'll say, here's the impact to research, and they'll wash over the fact that economic research and even within economics, topical variation have productivity differences. This paper is the first to provide quantitative data calibrating GPT-4 against doctorate-produced research. We dive further than generic estimates of productivity on research and drill it. We recognize a level of nuance absent in many estimates of productivity. We recognize a level of nuance by task that is absent in many estimates of productivity by looking at topical variation within like a variety of topics, looking at a variety of topics within the field of economics. We provide a level of utility and recognize a level of nuance by task that is absent in many discussions of research productivity by looking at a variety of topics within the field of economics. This paper achieves results that represent the cutting edge of generative artificial intelligence using GPT-4, a multimodal form of ChatGPT, and a best practice prompt engineering technique called a plugin forest. That seems like awkwardly worded. This paper achieves results that represent the cutting edge of generative artificial intelligence through a novel prompt engineering technique. Through the use of a novel prompt engineering technique called a plugin forest. This paper achieves results that represent the cutting edge of generative artificial intelligence through the use of a novel prompt engineering technique called a plugin forest, through the use of GPT-4 with a novel prompt engineering technique called a plugin forest. This paper describes a new best practice and achieves results that represent the cutting edge of generative artificial intelligence through the use of GPT-4 with a novel prompt engineering technique called a plugin forest. I think that's better. I don't know. It still seems a bit awkward, but anyway, quick reminder, if you're on TikTok, you can go to YouTube or Twitch, link is in the bio, and see the full screen. We find that GPT-4 with a plugin forest produces literature review summaries of comparable point estimated quality to a doctorate level researcher while retaining lower variation in quality compared to a human author. We describe nuances with these results, such as weaker performance for lesser published topics. We describe novel use cases for GPT-4 that add to known large language model use cases for research. And we make use of GPT-4 plugins with systematic and reproducible plugin selection, a topic for which there is currently no published empirical work. We conclude with a discussion on expected future productivity trends and We conclude with a discussion on expected future productivity trends and open research areas, providing an evidence-based case that productivity over time in the generative in the space of generative artificial intelligence is expected to grow in a comfortingly modest pace, grow at a modest pace. And there we're talking to this debate between accelerationism and decelerationism. And some people are freaking out because we're going to hit an exponent and there's going to be a singularity in 20 years. Like, bro, no. We're looking at like 4%. We're looking at like under 10% gain per year. Under 10% gain per year. And you can just look at the difference between GPT-4 that was produced in March 14, that version, the 0314 version, versus Turbo that came out in November. So that's like a 9-month difference. And there's like a 4% difference. It's like a 4% improvement in the Model Arena ELO score. Okay, so to do novel tasks include generating diagrams, reading and generating images like diagrams, executing code, interpreting, and generating code, and translating documents between technical forms like LaTeX and Markdown, LaTeX, HTML, and Markdown, and knowledge retrieval. Tufted Photo, hey, sorry to bother you. Wanted to offer you a promotion for your channel. No thanks. Okay. To do more discussion on what a plugin forest is and why it's awesome. More than half a dozen best practices built in, such as tree of thoughts, roles, mixture of experts, and chain of thought prompting. More than half a dozen best practices built in, plus making it systematic and reproducible use of GPT-4 plugins. Lots of discussion about ChatGPT, which disregards GPT-4. I think we covered that basically. We know prompt strategy drives productivity. Oh, I need to call out of note. We find that GPT-4 with a plugin force produces literature review summaries of comparable point estimated. Of note, 0 hallucinated citations were generated following this process, in contrast to results frequently attributed to ChatGPT, but in fact merely attributable to, generally attributable to GPT to GPT 3.5, a substantially inferior model. A substantially inferior and architecturally distinct model compared to GPT-4. Of note, 0 hallucinated citations were generated following this process, in contrast. Okay, cool. GPT-4 performance is varied notably over time. Yeah, that's another point I need to. Oh, and the textbooks are all you need. We also want to relate to that. Oof. We describe nuances with these results. I kind of want to work in textbooks are all you need to the background, but it feels like maybe it should go in the conclusion. Okay. No, it can go in the methodology. It can go in the methodology where we talk about what is a plugin forest. So when I send this to my co-author, I'm going to ask them. So we 4 sections to incorporate. We did that. Still want to grep this in my email. Polish, send to co-author's review. Co-author question. Does it make sense for a technical description of the plugin forest to go in the background section or the methodology? Maybe both, since we want a bajillion pages. With a little duplication. Maybe that's what I do, huh? All right, let me set down this chair. My back's starting to bother me. Okay. Sit to stand desk for the win. I think this is a good place to do a commit, and then we can have GPT draft the conclusion. So what's the main change here? I think the main change is that I improved the background. So here I'll commit this as docs better background section. Commit and push that. And now let's do a quick and dirty of the conclusions. Okay, so here I am using GPT-4, and I say consider this work in progress paper. I will provide some additional notes and ask you to draft, consider this work in progress academic research paper. I will provide some additional notes and ask you to draft the conclusion. Ready for the additional notes? Question mark, boom. Could not parse my auth token. Well, do better. I'll refresh the page. Absolutely, I'm ready for the additional notes. Okay, great. Here are the additional notes. Task. A role. You are to act as an academic, economist, and co-author. Draft the conclusion using a scholarly tone. All right, let's see what it says. The findings of this study firmly position GPT-4, particularly when employed with the innovative. See, we shouldn't use words like that. All right. Significant asset in the field of economic research. Yeah, that would be contribution. What a goofy way to phrase that. Okay, it's trying, isn't it? The ability of GPT-4 to generate literature reviews of quality comparable to the doctorate level researchers, while demonstrating reduced variation in quality and zero hallucinated citations, marks a paradigm shift in the landscape of economic research productivity. The study not only sheds light on the efficacy of GPT-4, but also pioneers the systematic and reproducible use of its plugins, setting a new standard for future research methodologies. Some of this is trash. Some of this I would not submit, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and copy it, and then we can sort of like edit it in place. How about that? Conclusion. So here to do still has two conclusion sections. So here I want to say to do one is estimate Gen AI productivity improvements over time. Estimate Gen AI productivity improvements over time. Estimate GPT-4 plugins over time. 3, increased number of multimodal native competitors over time. Open areas of research. New architectures. The forthcoming GPT store. Potential improvements in plugin selection or tool selection. Analysis of other specialty research tools and workflows that yield higher quality or productivity for certain tasks or across the literature development life cycle. And then it would be nice to be able to predict actual acceptance rate. Instead of merely explain perceived quality on questionnaire. And then it's highly likely that there's we showed weak style adoption in our paper. Without a doubt, it's expected. Without a doubt is like not really an academic phrase. We judge it as likely that a finely tuned or natively trained model with more access to journal-specific papers. We showed weak style adoption in our paper. We judge it as likely that a finely tuned or natively trained model with more access to journal-specific papers, we judge it likely, would be able to better adopt an academic tone and further a style that comports with the target journal. Researchers often we often adapt our style, and in many cases we actually have to adapt a paper to meet journal requirements. After all, researchers typically modify papers to target, modify papers to accord with particular journals. Maybe not typically. Researchers frequently modify papers to accord with particular journals, and it seems obvious that automating such a task would be a productivity improvement. Be a further productivity improvement. Okay, so I think that was very poorly written. All right, so those are some to-dos. And now let's paste over this. We'll drop this. This study, the findings of this study firmly position GPT-4 the findings of this study strongly confirm the utility of GPT-4 and the plugin Forest for use in research, for use in general research and publication level work in the particular field of economics. The ability of GPT-4 to generate literature reviews of quality comparable to that of doctorate level researchers, while demonstrating reduced variation in the quality and zero hallucinated citations, marks a paradigm shift in the landscape of economic research productivity. I don't know about that. Strongly revises what it does is it clarifies this debate that's going on. So the demonstrated ability of GPT-4 to generate literature reviews, okay. Removes the controversy around such tools and pushes the academy to accept them, to better understand the value of these tools and the concrete techniques by which they are optimally utilized. The study not only sheds light on the efficacy of GPT-4, but also pioneers the systematic and reproducible use of its plugins. Setting clear best practices for the state of usage today, and also marking clear areas for improvement over time. Clear locations for added research, for added future research. Also marking clear opportunities for future research. Do you cover Node.js? Sure, not today, but yeah, I work with Node.js a good amount. Okay, so here's conclusions and here's key takeaways. The bulleted list seems really uncommon to me. I guess I'll leave it for now, but I feel like it really needs to be drawn out of a bulleted list. It seems really weird. The incorporation of GPT-4 in academic research, particularly in economics, could significantly enhance productivity without compromising quality. Study suggests several avenues for future research. I think we can get rid of that first sentence. We've already said that a bunch of times. Equivalence, indistinguishability, and style distinction. Graders, including those with graduate education, could not consistently distinguish between GPT-4 and human-authored documents, indicating the model's advanced capability. However, the distinct style of GPT-4's outputs, while maintaining quality, suggests room for stylistic refinement to better align with traditional academic writing. That's right. Another key takeaway is that the plugin forest works. Okay. And that there's consistent plugin selection. GPT-4's output, calibrated with the plugin forest technique, matches the quality of doctorate level research in economics, providing a reliable alternative for literature review composition. The consistency of GPT-4's performance, exhibiting less variance, underscores its reliability. The technique provides yeah, it can be incrementally adopted so that you can consistently select plugins for quality. Let's leave that alone. That's fine. Equivalency and quality, consistency and reliability. We already say a reliable approach, right? That's fine. Indistinguishability and style distinction. I'll just say style distinction. Topic sensitivity. Yeah, that's a good one. The study acknowledges GPT-4's lower performance in lesser studied topics, indicating a need for further development in handling niche academic subjects. Yep. Implications for future research. And then there would be like non-research implications for future research and like other future expectations that are not research. Other like related trends. Notable related trends. We'll just call it related trends. And then we'll call this one future research. And then this will be final remarks. The study presents GPT-4 used with the plug-in force technique as a nope, we're not going to say that. While it excels in general topics, its performance in niche areas, stylistic nuances are ripe for exploration as AI continues to evolve. Its role as a the findings of the study serve as a foundational step. I think this is not a good final remark. So one final remark is that we can judge AI-driven research as a useful mental model and useful final remarks. The study demonstrated this study calibrated the quality of the output. The study compared the quality of the output of GPT-4 using a plugin forest to traditionally authored human literature reviews, traditionally authored summary literature reviews. The study compared the quality of output of the quality of the output of GPT-4. That seems like a strange way to say that. The summary compared the quality of traditionally authored summary literature reviews let's say human authored. The study compared the quality of human authored summary literature reviews to those produced by GPT-4 with a plugin forest prompt, with a plugin forest. The study compared the quality of human authored summary literature reviews to those produced by GPT-4 with a plugin forest. Results indicate results indicate high output quality. The reviews produced by the drafts produced by the drafts produced by GPT-4 are high in quality, and like the bigger picture is that this should cause us to rethink the drafts produced by GPT-4 are high in quality. This is more important than a mere tool addition to the tool set of the researcher. We should take a step back and begin to consider more strongly the broader concept of AI first or AI driven research. At the moment, This study directly justifies a systematic literature review This study directly justifies a systematic literature review implemented by artificial intelligence. But such a process is still fundamentally supervised and therefore constrained. The study directly justifies a systematic literature review implemented by artificial intelligence. A truly AI-driven approach would begin by asking a multimodal model or other advanced model about which research topics are most valuable in the first place. The study directly justifies a systematic literature review. Yeah. This is future research. Yeah, I don't think we need final remarks. We can just leave that as maybe number 5 here. So let's turn these into this sort of syntax. A larger sample size and the inclusion of more varied academic levels. Master's degree was included. A larger sample size with better reputation, with better a larger sample size with better representation of more varied. A larger sample size with better representation of more varied graduate degree holders and more varied topics under assessment would provide, yeah, that's a good one. Two, beyond literature reviews. Exploring GPT-4's utility in other sections of academic papers, such as methodology and data analysis, would further expand its applicability. technical improvements. Yeah, that's fine. Multi-shot prompting is known to produce, let's see, technical improvements. GPT-4 Turbo GPT-4 Turbo is a new model of GPT-4, and newer models is a new model of GPT-4 with a higher token limit and improved benchmark results. Token limit expansion will generally facilitate multi-shot prompting, which is known to independently improve results. GPT-4 Turbo is a new model of GPT-4 with a higher token limit and improved benchmark results. Token limit expansion will generally facilitate multi-shot prompting, which is known to independently improve results. Rough estimation of productivity increases over time was presented in the conclusion of this paper, but periodic reporting let's see. I'll say periodic reporting on state of the art model performance will significantly improve on the rough estimation of productivity increases presented over time that were presented in the conclusion of this paper. Let's read that again. Did that make sense? GPT-4 Turbo is a new model of GPT-4 with a higher token limit and improved benchmark results. Token limit expansion will generally facilitate multi-shot prompting, which is known to independently improve results. Periodic reporting on state-of-the-art model performance will significantly improve on the rough estimation of productivity. Yeah. Prompt engineering may represent, prompt engineering represents an opportunity for further independent technical improvement. Let's see, we did a mixture of experts and we even allowed the AI to pick the experts, I believe. For instance, this paper took an AI-driven approach to role selection in the mixture of experts for the plugin Forest, but perhaps specific roles can be identified that perform better than AI selected results, selected roles that perform better on average compared to Yeah, selected roles. Thanks for the likes. Let's see. Another thing is the store. So there's technological advancements. 1, 2, 3, 4. For journal targeted models. Textbooks are all you need. Textbooks are all you need showed the power of manipulating the training data on a model. And this seems a likely route to solve for the weak academic style adoption demonstrated in the plugin forest. Demonstrated in this paper. Let's just say in this paper. Further, models could publication chances may be further improved by directly training on material for a given journal compared to training on textbooks. Publication chances might be further improved by directly training on material for a given journal. Like predicting publication odds would be predicting publication odds and constructing research techniques that optimize directly on that outcome could prove more valuable than the sort of explanatory approach on quality taken in this paper. Let's say not prove more valuable. Let's say would add significantly to the explanatory approach on quality taken in this paper. Okay, so larger sample size beyond literature reviews, technical model improvements. It's prompt model and prompt improvements. Technical model and prompt improvements. Journal targeted models, addressing ethical considerations and practical limitations, such as the potential for bias. Yeah, the ethical side of things is important. Does the thing really plagiarize right now? I don't think it does. That's fine. It's worth mentioning. Ethical considerations. Addressing open ethical considerations in the use. Addressing open ethical considerations remains an important concern for generative AI. Addressing open ethical considerations remains an important concern for generative AI. I think that's pretty much it. So that'd be 4, 5, 6. Seven. And what was this fifth one? I had one more. That's the store. So this is plugin selection. Let's say tool selection. Tool selection, price signals, tool selection, reputation, price signals, and the store, the GPT-4 store. Tool selection, reputation, price signals, and the GPT-4 store. Thanks for the likes, Kat. Thanks for being here. This paper used an AI-driven plugin selection approach. A primary reason the list of a common selection approach, a selection approach based in economic theory. Bro, what am I saying? Someone needs to come slap me. This approach was selected in part due to the absence of due to the absence of alternatives. Identification of product quality is often made on the basis of rating aggregation, price, rating aggregation, price, and other market signals. OpenAI did to date, there is no central repository of plugin ratings, which would make this approach feasible. In 2024, OpenAI has announced the release of a GPT-4 store. This store would allow organizations. This store would operate as a marketplace for some kinds of tools, potentially including plugins. The store will operate. The store would operate as a marketplace for some kinds of tools, potentially including plugins. In the future, it would be interesting to evaluate productivity of market-leading plugins and tools for ChatGPT, market-leading plugins and tools. A useful contribution to the literature would be to identify generative artificial intelligence plugins and tools that lead the market based on economic signals, rather than through let's not say rather. These or other economic signals. A useful contribution to the literature would be to identify generative artificial intelligence plugins and tools that lead the market based on these or other economic signals. Okay, I think that makes sense for the future research. What about related trends? And so here is to do plugin over time forecast, to do model arena ELO over time. And then I think that will largely take care of our conclusion, won't it? Finding this study strongly confirmed the utility of GPT-4 in the plugin forest for use in general research and publication level work. Publication level work in the field of economics. The demonstrated ability of GPT-4 to generate literature. Okay, I think that looks good. This is saying like, dude, you can use GPT-4. Quit freaking out. Like you can't use GPT-4 for research. By the way, thanks everyone for watching. If you're getting anything out of the video, please like and subscribe and send the video to a friend, maybe. So we're going to take care of this comment. Yeah, and then I think the conclusion will pretty much be resolved by that. Let's go over here what we've done here. So we're going to take care of those multimodal competitors over time. To do, talk about Gemini and multimodal native training. To do, talk about Mamba hyena hierarchy and architectural innovations. There's also like the context telescoping. So there's a guy, David, on YouTube. This guy, David, something. David. Hopefully he pops up somewhere on here. He's been on my sort of like main YouTube page pretty frequently lately. But I have been ignoring him, so maybe that means he'll stop showing up now. Oh. I don't. Is that the guy, Peter Attia? That might be the guy. Who's Peter Attia? This is like a health guy. This is not the big AI guy. He just kind of looks like him. Okay, sorry. Okay, maybe I will not be able to find him. I thought his name was David something. Okay, this is not working. How about context, long context LLM? Retrieval meets long context. Is this the one? Is this the one? Effective long context scaling of foundation models. Is this use the telescoping thing? Like telescoped attention? Is that what it's called? Oh, Archive Papers has its own YouTube now. Today I learned. We're following that immediately. Monarch Mixer? No, that's something else. Turn your llama into a giraffe. That's great. I'm not finding it. I'm not finding it. All right, so maybe I don't mention this thing. Long Laura? Is this the thing? Well, the video that I was thinking of is not coming up, but this could be the same topic, and I just can't find the guy. Because they were talking about how the problem is as you expand the context, it gets the precision is blurred in the middle. All right, I think I'm just not going to talk about this because I'm not finding it. We present long lore, an efficient fine-tuning approach that extends context sizes. Whatever. It doesn't add much to the main point. The main point is that like token windows continue to grow. Thanks for the likes, Kat. Okay, so we'll talk about those. Multimodal native competitors, open area of research. I think we caught these. It'd be nice to be able to predict acceptance. We talked about that. We showed weak. Yeah. Cool. I think we took care of that with the journal specific, journal targeted modeling, journal targeted models. Textbooks are all you need. And let's get the link to this. Okay. Textbooks are all you need showed the power of manipulating the training data on a model. Analysis of GPT-4 over a generic reference to ChatGPT moves the Academy forward on the forward along the axis of model architecture. Along the axis of model architecture from and the analysis of large language models to an analysis of multimodal models. The era of large parameter count over, says Sam Altman. We're at the end of an era where it's going to be these giant models. End of an era. I think we're at the end of an era where it's going to be these giant models and we'll make them better in other ways. January, February, March, April. January, February, March, April. In April of 2023, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, commented that, whoa, wrong button. Analysis of GPT-4 over a generic reference to ChatGPT moves the Academy forward along the axis of model architecture from the analysis of large language models to an analysis of multimodal models. In April of 2023, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, commented that we're at the end of an era where it's going to be these giant models and we'll make them better in other ways. In an interview with TechCrunch, was it? TechCrunch. Okay. Since that time, Google Gemini. Gemini Ultra 10 shot is still getting wrecked by the by GPT-4. Gosh, Gemini is so garbage. Isn't there a research paper? Here's the Gemini report. Great. Multimodality of AI for education. This is December 12th. Presents a comprehensive examination of how multimodal artificial intelligence approaches are paving the way towards the realization of AGI. Okay, give me a break, dude. This report introduces a new family of multimodal models. That exhibit remarkable capabilities across image, audio, video, and text understanding. Great. Okay. And when did this come out? Gemini advances state of the art in large scale language modeling, audio processing, and other things. Woohoo! 2023. I just say later that year, eh? That'll be fine because it says 2023. But it would be nifty if they had a publication date on this bad boy. You have a technical, come on. You have a technical report, there's going to be a date in it. December 2022. How are you releasing a technical report with no date on it, homie? Okay, here we go. December, submitted on December. Later in 2023, Google unveiled Gemini, a competitor in the native multimodal space. And then does Amazon multimodal model? Do they have one? Amazon multimodal embeddings helps customers power more accurate and contextually relevant multimodal search recommendation. You can access it in Bedrock. You know, I feel bad as a programmer who has used Bedrock that I don't know if Bedrock is multimodal. You can now access the multimodal embeddings in Bedrock. So it supports multimodal. So it must be multimodal. It must be multimodal, even if it's limited. Bedrock is a fully managed service, high-performing foundation models from leading AI companies. Yeah, okay, so it's other people's models, but that's okay, via a single API, which is great, by the way. Bedrock is actually really cool. Not sponsored. Amazon, give me a shout out if you want to do a sponsorship. I will brag about Bedrock. I'll do it. Okay. I just want a list of multimodal models because I am an academic, and as an academic, I have an unquenchable thirst for a list of three examples. I can't just say OpenAI and Gemini Cricket. I need a third multimodal model to prove a trend. In spite of everything that you've heard, 3 samples does make a trend. List of multimodal models. Awesome multimodal. What's an example of a multimodal model? I guess DALL-E is multimodal because it maps image to text, eh? So there you go. But we already mentioned ChatGPT, so we basically already mentioned DALL-E, whether or not it's like very clear. A survey on this is what I'm looking for, baby. Yes, I need someone named Yen. I need that Yen. OCR-free math reasoning. That's super cool. Let me read the paper, though. So we have ChatGPT, a language model, right? GPT-4 tech report, great. Vicuna. Oh, yeah. There is, what is it, Lava? Lava is an open multimodal. Vicuna is great. So do they talk about Lava? Yeah, hell yeah. Lava Med and multi-instruct. Yeah, here's Lava, straight up Lava, 21. That didn't do what I wanted. Lava. $21, and then where are these? So are these up references? No, I want this paper. Visual instruction tuning with Lava. Visual instruction tuning. Say Lava. We introduce Lava. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Lava is great, y'all. Check it out. Open source. It's awesome. Learning to use tools for creating multimodal agents. That's awesome. So Lava's getting tool usage. Keep an eye on this project. This thing is going to continue to blow up. And when did this, so this was April 17th. No way, was that the same day? In April of 2023. Okay, so he said this on the 14th, right? less than a week later, Lava less than a week later, an impressive and open source multimodal model was released called Lava. Later in 2023, Gemini unveiled Gemini, a competitor in the native multimodal space. And Yin et al. Multimodal large language models. Well, that's annoying terminology that I'm not going to use because it's MLLM. Bro, just call it a multimodal model. Multimodal model. Are they trying to avoid MLM? Is that the issue? Academics are fun. Okay. It's like, oh, we can't call it MLM. MMM. Triple M. Less than a week later, an impressive open source multimodal model was released called Lava. Later in 2023, Google unveiled. We need to reference the guy. See Yen et al. See Yin et al. For a survey of multimodal developments. For a survey of multimodal developments. Chat GPT. It's like, when did GPT 3.5 release date? On March 2022. So we went 3 to 3.5 over about 2 years ago. GPT-3 release date. 2020. Okay. Where's the June date? GPT-3, great. GPT-3. GPT-3 was released new architecture, let's see. GPT-3 was released in 2020, and GPT 3.5 was released in 2022. We can roughly observe a GPT 3.5 was the same architecture though, wasn't it? Like, isn't it the same architecture? An accelerationist view might observe the halving between the time to release GPT-3, GPT 3.5, and GPT-4, but fundamentally, GPT 3.5 follows the same language model architecture of GPT-3. One concerned about an observer concerned about the growth rate of artificial intelligence. Let's just say this: the halving between the time to release GPT-3, 3.5, and GPT-4 might seem like cause for concern on the velocity of generative artificial intelligence acceleration. But fundamentally, GPT 3.5 follows the same language model architecture of GPT-3. Mamba and hyena hierarchy are two examples of fundamentally different model architectures. History, roughly, Mamba and hyena hierarchy are two examples of fundamentally different model architectures. Although the practical improvement from these architectures is yet to be seen. And then we can basically drop these, and then we already talked about Gemini. In the coming months and years, multimodal modeling will be the yeah. Is it obvious or do I need to say something? Mamba. In general, a trend toward multimodal models with improved technical capabilities is clear, but the in general, a trend toward multimodal models with improved technical abilities is clear, but the improvements in productivity remain empirically non-uniformly up, like non-uniformly increasing and modest, but practical. In general, a trend toward multimodal models with improved technical capabilities is clear, but the practical improvements in year-over-year productivity remain empirically non-uniformly increasing and modest. I can remove empirically. So here I want to talk about the arena. The clearest empirical data is found in the distinction. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't say the clearest. I'll say a clear empirical comparison is found between GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. Zhang et al. Zhang et al. Provide a useful and robust approach to comparative quality analysis in the with a crowdsourced chatbot arena. Okay, and so here is So how do we use this thing? So we can compare the two best models. So we can see the progress from 0314 to November. I think that's pretty useful. The table, or let's see, table 3 below reproduces the latest, the leaderboard, the top 3 leaderboard entries from table 3 below reproduces the top 3 leaderboard entries from the arena as observed on January 5, 2024. Table 3. So we'll go over to GPT-4, paste this, and I'll say, make a markdown table of this data, excluding emojis. Okay, so we'll copy this. So here's table 3, and let me just preview that really quick and make sure it looks reasonable. Here's table 3. Yep, looks great. I don't need the license or MMLU data. I need the release date. And then we'll commit this because this is a nice table. Arena ELO rating, MMT bench. And I want the top 3 records. Oops, my bad. My bad. Oh, 0613. 0613. Okay. And then the 1158 918. 1158 918. All right, good deal. Along with the release date for each model. I think it was November 6th. Okay, so here we have the dates, right? So what's the maximum difference here? So you could say There were consistent improvements along the MT bench, but inconsistent improvements along the arena bench. So let's compare the 896 and the 932. Let's close a bunch of these. Calculate these two results. X1 equals 9.32 divided by 8.96. X2 equals 1243. 1243 over 1243 over 1192. So yeah, from 4.02 to 4.28. Based on this data, we see an improvement across all models. It so happens that this table, the arena data show the dominance of GPT-4 over many other models. Like I want to drive the point home that like we actually looked at like a bunch of these models. Just absolutely dozens. How many more models here? I can't click and copy. This is a bummer. Bro, let me copy, dude. I can inspect it and copy it that way. Oh, they're virtual rows. That's why it doesn't work. Where's the list of models included? Uh, 50 plus, yeah, over 50 models. The arena data showed the dominance of GPT-4 over more than 50 models assessed, models compared. The arena data showed the dominance of GPT-4 over more than 50 models compared. We see an improvement in the top performing model of between 4.02, 4.28%. We see an improvement in the top performing model of between 4.02 and 4.8% over the course of about 8 months, depending on whether we use the user the arena elo rating. Oh, let me just do in parentheses like this. I'm going to rephrase this. Using the ratings provided by users, we see an improvement in the arena elo rating for the top performing model of about 4.02% over the course of about 8 months. If we use the MT benchmark scores, we observe a slightly higher 4.28% increase over the same period, or an approximate improvement of divided by 2 multiplied by 3. So that's 2.14. 2.14. Nope, you don't divide by 2 multiplied by 3. To get from 8 to 12, yes, you do. Then it'd be 6.342. Divide by 2, multiply by 3. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Let me know if my math is off. I think that's right. Order approximate improvement of 6.42% annualized. The ARENA data show the dominance of GPT-4 over more than 50 models compared using the ratings provided by users. We see an improvement in the ARENA ELO rating. This seems decidedly, let me just leave it at that. I'll let y'all judge that. To me, that seems like decidedly modest compared to let me find a Google Scholar for that. Cited by one. I need more sites than that. Who is, let's go since 2020. And let me see a bigger citation number. So here's 24 citations. Runaway technology. This seems decidedly modest compared to much of the popular rhetoric or academic writing on runaway technology or fast takeoff AI, or the dangers of fast takeoff AI. Let's look for fast takeoff. Fast takeoff AI. There's like no citations here. AI enabled autonomous drones, fast whatever. It looks like there's not serious discussion in the academy about fast takeoff AI. Is that true? It looks like it's just like blogs and people. Or are they using different terms? Fast takeoff AI. Kevin, what's up? What does FOOM mean? Is that the fast, sudden increase in artificial intelligence such that AI becomes extremely powerful? Yeah, I think that's basically it. Most of my argument for FOOM. So this is an argument for FOOM. Okay, I think this is the best thing to cite in that conversation. Do you have any open source projects in which you incorporate login and authentication for routing? Yep, yeah, latterly.io, link is in my bio. Actually, I have a bunch of projects like that, but latterly.io is the main one I would refer you to. You can also check out ariastail.com, which is open source and incorporates social login with Discord, if you're interested in that. It uses the T3 stack, so it's a different stack. So related trends, we want to talk about basically technical improvements and then plugins. There are two main technical, this paper discussed quality and performance for research tasks. For research tasks using GPT-4 and a plugin, using GPT-4 and the plugin forest. There are two major trends. There are two major categories of trends that there are two noteworthy trend categories. Two noteworthy trend categories. Two related trends of note include technical multimodal improvements and growth in the GPT-4 plugin store. Two related trends of note include technical multimodal improvements. Technical multimodal improvements. Technical improvements in multimodal generative AI. Modal with an A. Keep messing that up. I feel like I misspelled that a bunch of times, actually. Technical improvements in multimodal generative AI. And then we want to have, and that's a 4 hash or a 3 hash. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 4 hash. So here we want to have another 4 hash. 1, 2, 3, 4. GPT-4 plugin growth over time. The GPT-4 plugin store, was it called a plugin store? GPT-4 plugins announced. Oi. I have the dates. I have these dates already in my notes somewhere. Oh, it's right here. Awesome. It's just called ChatGPT plugins, right? ChatGPT plugins were announced, were open to the public, on March 23, 2023. There was an initial catalog of 13 plugins. By May 18th, the number grew to Figure 3 shows the growth rate of these plugins over time. There were 83 plugins available in May, and as of January 2024, there are now 1039 plugins listed in the directory. And at the time of writing, in January 2024. There are now, oh, this is January. I took that number like, I think yesterday, January 4th. And at the time of writing on January 4, 2024, there are now 1039 plugins listed in the directory. Figure 3 shows the growth rate of these plugins over time. Illustrates the growth of these plugins over time. Okay, so here we will create create a diagram, create a what do you code in TypeScript? You can do a lot of things. The main thing would be websites and web applications, but you can also do thick clients or desktop applications. You can also do, and you would do something called, what is that thing called? Starts with an E. Electron. You would use Electron probably. And then you can also do mobile with React Native or other tools using TypeScript. But mainly it's websites. Create a line graph with the following data, with the following plugin count data over time. "13 plugins on March 2023, 83 plugins as of May 18, 41 plugins in July 2023. Let's just do the month here, because I don't know the date on July. 1039 plugins in January 2024. Oh, that said January 3rd. I had actually written it down. January 3rd. Why don't you use blackbox.ai? The main reason is because I don't know what that is. Let's take a look while that graph generates. Blackbox.ai. Oh, this is kind of cool. Continue as me, not yet, maybe in the future. Center a div, how to center a div. Oh, that's so great. I love it. I love it. So what does it do? It basically just it teaches you how to code or something. KB, what's up? What? How many Pokemon exist? Whoa, it answered so quickly. Dude, what is this dude? Helps with coding and with Pokemon, gang. Don't sleep on the black box coding Pokemon feature. Not an Elon chatbot. Do you have daddy issues? I'm an artificial intelligence and do not have personal experiences or emotions. Okay. Exactly what Elon would say. I'm working on a link expression right now. Just generated a JSON file for our UI team over an open API spec. We love open API. We love open API. So does Blackbox do a diagram? diagram these coordinates. 1, 1, 2, 5, 5, 9, 62, 31. Okay, it'll give you the code to diagram, but it won't actually diagram it for you. That's cool. Is it maybe it's better than Copilot? Maybe it's better than GPT-4? I don't know. I dig it though. I dig it. I'd like to actually see productivity data though. Okay, so we'll make this script, new file, and this is make figure 3.py, make figure 3.py. What project are you working on? This is a research project. And I don't want to show it. I want to plt.save fig. And figure 3, we'll go up a directory and then go into figures and then save it as figure 3. Okay. So let me poetry. Oh, and then I need to add, I think I already have these dependencies. Let me look at my poetry file. Matplot. Oh, matplot. Yeah, I got matplot. And then what was the other? It was pandas. Yeah, I got pandas. Matplot and pandas. So let me poetry run make figure 3.py. Boop. Making figures. There it is. Yay. Pub GitHub repo. Yeah. So here it is. Can you read that or is it blurry? By the way, if you're on TikTok, quick reminder that I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitch. You can see the full screen if you go there. Link is in my bio. And if you're liking the video, whatever platform you're on, please give the video a like and follow the page. It's good? Okay, that's good to know. Thanks for being here. All right, so we got figure 3. And let me go ahead and commit figure 3. So here I'm going to say make fig 3, stage that, commit, push. And once I'm pushing it, I'm hoping that I can refer to it here in the files changed. So here in, let's see, figure 3. And then can I go to the raw form or not? View file. What API are you using? What do you mean? I'm just using like Python libraries like pandas and NumPy and stuff. That's basically all I'm doing. Okay, so then we want to tear out this list here and do, what is it, image? Is it an exclamation point? What is the syntax for a markdown image? Are you hard coding data? Yep. Yeah, I'm basically hard coding the data. Oh, okay, that's what you meant, an API. No, there's not an API here. This is a fixed data set. That's what we use in research. In research, you typically don't use like a living data set. Are you using the VS Code application to code? Yeah, I did some, but right now we're basically drafting the report. So it's more like a white paper at this point. So we're working in Markdown right now. This is an example image, and what it should say is Chat GPT plugins over time. Chat GPT plugins over time. Let me see if I can look at the preview now. There it is. It's showing up. Great. How do you figure out your mock data? No, there's no mock data. This is real data. So I've done like real research. These are real numbers. It would be nicer if it said like the like English name of the month. I don't know, chat. What do you think? Like maybe this is fine. Maybe this is fine. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so I think we're pretty good there now. So what would be the 9, 10? That's 10 months, right? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, that's 10 months. So we see a difference over this 10-month span. We see an expansion of like 900%. Calculate. Are you pulling this data from a file? Yeah, but it was just written notes. 79 as a percent. So that's we see an expansion of about 80 fold. We see an approximate 80-fold increase in the count of available plugins. Over this 10-month span, we see an approximate 80, not 8, 80-fold increase in the count of available plugins. This would seem to be correlated to improved academic literature access for Chat GPT, improved academic literature access for GPT-4. Although the magnitude of the coefficient is not known, and ultimately the improvement to be expected that is caused this way is an open question. Ultimately, the research quality and productivity improvements this will cause, and ultimately the degree, the magnitude of This is expected. Let's say this would not seem this. We expect this upward trend to correlate with improved access to academic literature for GPT-4. Although the magnitude of research quality and productivity improvements that may result are an open question. Okay, cool. Correlated, you say? Yep, yeah, that should be correlated. Hey, Donkaroo, what's up? So basically 100 per month. No. Maybe. I don't know. So I was trying to avoid making an assumption about the shape, because you could see it's roughly linear here. You can see it's roughly linear, but you could also make an argument that it's an S or a growth curve, right? It kind of looks like a population growth curve where you have like this short up arc and then a slow decreasing marginal increase. But I only have 4 observations, so I wouldn't want to say any of that stuff. So I just did a simple average, linear average. Welcome to Donkaroo's channel. I came over here 1,000 over 10 months. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Should I say that? I'll say that if you want to. Is it worth mentioning, or about 100 per month? Over this 10-month span, we see an approximate 80-fold increase in the count of available plugins, or about 100 new plugins each month. I guess, yeah, sure. It improves things, doesn't it? Just an observation. It's a good one. I appreciate it. KB says, how big is the sample size? This was a sample of 4. This is not a main result. This is the conclusion section. This is like a borderline speculative supplementary information. The main regression analysis had like 550 samples, something like that. Okay, so let's open the preview. And remember, for today's stream, my main goals were to update the background section and possibly the conclusion section. It looks like we knocked out both. So still got some to-dos there, but the background is basically drafted. The methodology still needs an improvement. Conclusion is looking pretty good. Yeah, I think I need to give it 1 or 2 more passes, and then it'll be ready for to send off to my co-author. What is the end goal, if you don't mind me asking? The end goal is to get a publication, basically. So the original end goal was to understand the productivity impact of GPT-4 on research. I basically know the answer now. The problem is that if I tell people I know the answer, many people will say, like, prove it, basically. And if I show them a working paper, many people are not convinced. So, but a lot of these people are the sort of people who don't want to be convinced, huh? Still, it looks really good if you can have a peer-reviewed journal publication. It sort of, it basically looks good and it's more convincing. So that would be nice. Is there a simple way to print a markdown file to PDF? Where are you lacking code-wise? I think the only code that I'm missing would be kind of what it's doing right now, which is translating Markdown to LaTeX and then to PDF or directly to PDF. Dunkru, I'm not familiar with poetry and MD. Thanks. Oh, very welcome. What would you say about the number of publications over the same period? Like the number of my publications, or would you think there is an increase in publications? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Just over time, and ChatGPT has been trendy, right? I think there's been a large increase in publications on GPT. Use swashbuckle. What is swashbuckle? How many programming languages do you know? Oh, I know, let's see, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript. What do you count? Do you count SQL and HTML and CSS and DSLs like that? I know those. General publications and journals. Oh, like I would think millions. I don't know. What do you think? I know Java. I used to be a PHP developer, but don't quiz me on it. I led a team of VBA developers, so Visual Basic as well, but that's been like 7 years, so don't quiz me on it. Ruby. I also program regularly in Ruby. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Do you count Stata? Like I know Stata. Are you using RTK queries? No, I'm not. I'm just using ChatGPT. Oh, I don't know why I would use this right now, actually. All right, so let's add Pandoc. We're gonna poetry, add Pandoc. Cool. How do you call it? GPT, it's right here. There's the ChatGPT interface. You don't have to call it. You can just use it. That's actually the way many researchers use the tool. So many researchers do not use an API. They're using ChatGPT. They're using GPT-4 through the ChatGPT interface. So that's why I did the research this way. Pandoc my file, and so this will be paper.md, and we can call this paper from md.pdf, because there will be a LaTeX form as well. And this will be poetry run python 3-m. I think that should work. Invalid choice, paper.md. Maybe right. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, hold on. Because it's the parent folder. Cannot find the Pandoc program. Did I poetry add and then I did not poetry install? No dependencies to install. Okay, let me not -m Pandoc then. Let me just directly Pandoc. Not found Pandoc. Poetry list. Poetry env list. Activated. Python 3-m pip list. Oop. That won't work. Any advice on becoming a software developer? Yeah, for sure. Check the link in my bio, latterly.io. There's a step-by-step checklist. You can sign up for free. Here's the standard checklist. Basically, learn React. That is my main advice. Thanks for the likes, Vaughn. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm not getting what I want, though. I'm not getting what I want. So what I did poetry add pandoc. And that didn't seem to help. All right, GPT, help me out here. I really don't want to do that. All right, okay, all right, fine, I'll do it. Let me revert these. So it's actually not a Python package, that's the problem. Pandoc release page, I thought it was though. Oh, it's a Haskell library. Oops, my bad. All right, let's see if we got it now. All right, Lua. Let's go, Haskell and Lua. We're on the other side of programming now. Paper.md does not exist. Okay, that's on me. So it will be there. PDF LaTeX not found. Okay. It's giving me all these options, but like, what's the best one? The better maintained distribution with tens of developers. I love it. So it seems like Tech Live is the sort of like main one, and then I'm not sure why you would use these other ones. Whoa, what? Because it's based on a Windows wizard is the reason a lot of people use that. Doesn't sell me. Yeah, so I say, why not the basic one, eh? Am I missing something? Why not the basic one? Zaref, what's up? Oh, they tell us to do that then? It's kind of like officially recommended. All right, sure. Let's use it then. Still doing research. Yeah, I'm trying to generate the PDF right now. Oh, it's 5 gigs? Bro, what? I thought it said it was like 90 megs. Basic Tech is 90 megs. And Mac Tech is 5 gigs. Like, okay. What's the difference there? But all right. So in the meantime, what's remaining? We can read through the paper again. The methodology is boof, needs to be improved. But hasn't every section received a draft at this point? This is when I like to print out a physical paper of it, and I can walk around and redline a physical paper. Is kind of like the next step that I have in mind. It would be neat if there was a VS Code plugin where I could redline this and I could just like click and drag. Let's see, let's Google that. Is there a VS Code plugin that lets me redline a markdown image? I would like to be able to see a markdown preview and literally draw lines on the view or image. Watch, it's like, yes, here's how you do it. Acrobat, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's actually. There is a, how do I do a line through and markdown? Create a strike through, okay. Are there any visual editors for Markdown that allow me to create a strike through? ChatGPT posing a threat to Google, that's facts. Whoa, look at all this stuff. Do any have a VS Code plugin? Markdown Preview Enhanced. I feel like that's kind of what I'm looking for, eh? Let's see. Where you at, Extension Store? I'm getting some lag. It must be because I'm downloading the file. It's very highly rated. Check this out. Open source license. We love that. Yeah, let's try this out. 4.9 million, 5 million users. Come on. That's awesome. Yeah, seriously. I want 5 million downloads on my stuff. I make some cool stuff, guys. I promise. Check out latterly.io. It's free and open source. You can land a programming role. Don't you want to go down? There's nothing to download though. That's the thing. All right, so now I have this enhanced one, open preview. It's not showing it, or am I not seeing it? Let me close it. Maybe it's because it was already open. Open, reopen editor with. That's interesting. Whoa, what just happened there? So my download completed, is that what happened? Cool, Mac Tech, what up, what up? I genuinely don't know if I have 5 free gigs on my system. Oh yeah, golly, okay. That makes me feel bad. And it's gonna take 8.6 gigs. Okay, bye. So I need to, when I'm done with the stream, clean some stuff up. Honestly, I might need to get a new, like a new Mac. As much as I love my M2 Air, it doesn't have a lot of storage on it. So yeah, personal issue. Open, da, 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 da. Why am I not seeing open preview now? Okay. Reopen editor with is what we use now. Reopen editor with. Okay. First of all, it looks great. It looks great, but does it let me actually edit in line? Edit. Open in preview editor. Whoa. Pretty cool, dude. Pretty cool. GPT as a research assistant in economics, your mom. Boop. Yay. Edit in VS Code editor. Open. It's not the same thing anymore. Reopen with, is that what we called it? Open preview to the side. Bro, whatever. Okay. I need to get used to the new navigation though. I think it doesn't really help me much with my overall goal though, does it? Maybe it does. I don't know. All right, y'all. I'm going to end the stream there. Let's see, do I have anything else to commit? Not really. We're basically at the part where I have an initial draft. I mean, I know I still have a couple to-dos in there, but really, we're basically at what I would consider the initial draft. And what I start doing now is I start reading it and revising it, And I usually do like 2 or 3 passes before I'll bother like a peer reviewer. I also want to see how many pages are here, which is why I wanted to print it to PDF. I think we're only at like 4 pages right now. And we need to get to 4D. So we got a ways to go. But that doesn't need to happen this weekend. This weekend, we just wanted the initial draft. What's the research for? The research is so that we can understand the productivity impact of GPT-4, and I'm identifying this prompt engineering strategy called a plugin forest, and I'm basically making the case that it's a best practice. So there's that. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I'm making a few points here, but the overall point is an assessment of research productivity with GPT-4. So one of the points is, here's a standard approach. Here is the quality level it's mapped to. Oh, it turns out that's equal to a PhD. So it's publishable quality. That's a good point. Here's a best practice standard plugin forest. That's a good point, a technique. By the way, we can also measure the year-over-year productivity increases in AI, and it looks like it's like 6%. So accelerationist people, calm down. It's not the end of the world. That's a good point. But those are kind of like secondary points. The main point is just like, hey, can and should we use GPT-4, and will it produce quality research? And the answer is like, yeah, it does. Here's the data. Furthermore, all right, y'all, good to see you. If you liked the video, follow the page and